Last year, Lamar Jackson won his second NFL MVP award, and he did it without a 1,000-yard rusher or 1,000-yard receiver. Remarkable. Jackson, one of 3 quarterbacks since the 1970 merger to win MVP honors without a 1,000-yard rusher or 1,000-yard receiver. The others, John Elway during a 1987 strike-impacted season that featured replacement players, and then Brett Favre in 1996. We go live to Ravens camp right now, where Lamar is back on the field. Adam Schefter reporting this earlier that he would be back out there after dealing with an illness that's kept him out. Key additions for this team. They add running back Derrick Henry. That figures to unleash an even further level or gear of Lamar's running game. Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator, in his second season there. And of course, they're doing all this without Mike Macdonald, their defensive coordinator, who was a star by all accounts, is now the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. As you see this team, Dan, and we felt like last year, even in going and doing their games, we felt like they were so close to winning a Super Bowl. It might have been last year that was the year they fall short. Can this year be the year that it happens?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit less known football team-wise because of some of the departures that you mentioned. You know, Zach Orr takes over, and Mike Macdonald was just so creative last year. They were the best, you know, what we would call those simulated pressures. I can't imagine that Zach changes a lot in their defense. I look at the bottom of that list right there. Roger Rosengarten from Washington. You know, Morgan Moses goes to the New York Jets. The strength of this football team, as remarkable as Lamar has always been the 5 guys up front. And it's still a really good unit. Ronnie Stanley got to stay healthy. Linderbaum is fantastic. But if that right tackle spot doesn't skip a beat, and the addition of Derrick Henry, this offense still should be just as potent as it was last year.
They don't trade Morgan Moses to the New York Jets if they don't believe that Roger Rosengarten can get the job done.
Surely.
Right? And so they have a front that they believe in. And again, to your point, Dan, it's always been a strength of this team. And if you take what should be a strong, stout front again and put it in front of Derrick Henry, that to me is the difference on this team. They have a beast back there at running back to run the football.
Yeah.
They have a guy that, I mean, if they had a running back like this.
Jamal Lewis?
Jamal Lewis.
Yeah.
Okay, Jamal Lewis, they won a Super Bowl with. And Derrick Henry is going to be inspired. This is a team that made a run to try to get Derrick Henry last year before Tennessee wouldn't trade him to Baltimore.
Yeah.
Baltimore went after him again in free agency, brought him in, and now let's see what the combination of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry can do.
One of the coolest things, again, about us being able to travel around and do some of these games is talking to Baltimore last year, I mean, which was one of the best visits we had. What is one of the players that John Harbaugh brought up? He brought up Keaton Mitchell, the running back. He said, if I hadn't lost him, we really may be dangerous this year. So if he can come back healthy from that knee injury, along with Derrick, awesome. It's the defense that worries. There's a lot of brain drain on that side of the ball.
No Patrick Queen.
Well, I'm just saying this. Look, Mike Macdonald leaves. Anthony Weaver is now the new defensive coordinator in Miami. Denard Walker, who was the passing game coordinator, secondary coach, he's now the DC in Tennessee. So Zach Orr, there's a lot of people that have left that side in terms of the coaching staff that John's going to have to, really replenish that side of the coaching staff, which he's done tremendously. A lot of moving parts, though, in Baltimore.
These players on this Browns squad, they look to be really, really primed and ready, potentially for a Super Bowl run. We talked about it. You saw Deshaun Watson right there. Now, a lot of it hinges on him, but also David Njoku, their extremely talented tight end, with Dan Graziano.
Here at Browns camp with David Njoku, I was going to take my shirt off for the interview, but I didn't want to embarrass you, so let's get right to it. The offense is kind of new, right? There's some changes with Ken Dorsey coming in. How much do you expect to be different?
It has a couple twists to it, but it's fun. We're having a fun time. Where
do you think you are in terms of the process of learning it? I'm talking about as a team. Like, are you still installing stuff?
Yeah, but we're pretty much all the way there. Luckily, we have great coaches that really they know how to coach, know how to teach us for us to, for it to stick. It has to stick like that. So when it sticks, it sticks.
And in terms of your role in the offense, is there much change for you, or you just
whatever
continue?
The team needs me to be, whatever they need me to be, whatever they want me to do, whatever they need me to do, I will do.
How's Deshaun Watson looking to you this camp versus maybe the last couple of years?
He never fails to impress, that's for sure. The throws he threw today were second to none of impressive.
But I mean, like, you look at this team, like this roster, and what you did last year, and if he's healthy and back fine, like, how good can you be?
As good as we want to be. That's really the hard truth of an answer. We are as good as we want to be.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Thank
Next
you.
time, take your shirt off, all right?
I could do it. You want me to do it?
I've
been working out.
Cut.
America's not ready for that.
All right, there you go.
I think we're good. Thank you very much.
Wait.
Like what?
Wait, did you see
If we
David?
weren't on ABC, I would do it
No,
for
please.
Graziano.
Oh my God.
I
Let's
definitely
not.
would do it.
Well, come on then, Adam. What are you waiting on? So the thing is, did you notice that David Njoku kind of looked him up and down?
You
like,
saw
right
that?
When yeah, he was like,
yeah, he was like, please don't.
please don't do it. No, let's save us all. But David, great work there. Also, Graz,
That's a
you're
great
the
interview.
absolute
Graz.
best. Really interesting things happening there. We talked about it a
we
little
go.
bit earlier. You've seen Russell Wilson take some time off this week dealing with a calf issue. Mike Tomlin has said, it's pretty precautionary. Justin Fields getting some first-team reps as well. Let's welcome in Brooke Pryor, who has been there and is always there with the Steelers, giving us the latest. We've enjoyed having you on NFL Live this week. Brooke, what is going on at camp today?
Well, Laura, right before I stepped in front of the camera, I was watching Russell Wilson and Justin Fields warm up, and it doesn't look like Russell Wilson's going to be participating much again today. This is the Steelers' third practice, the third time that Russell Wilson has not fully suited up, but he is in cleats today. The last 2 days, he was in sneakers, and I saw him throw maybe 1 or 2 passes during individual drills, but he's not participating in team drills again, which means Justin Fields gets even more reps with the first team, and they went through their 7 shots period, which is where they run 7 plays from the 2-yard line. Justin Fields got 4 reps and was 1 of 4 with 1 touchdown to Calvin Austin in that period, with Russell Wilson looking on. But Russell Wilson spoke with us yesterday and said that if it was a game, he would be playing, and this is just precautionary. They're trying not to let a minor thing become major.
Yeah, it's really interesting because it is giving valuable time to Justin Fields. Thanks to Brooke. I wish we had more time to talk about these Steelers because they're fascinating, but we're going to continue our AFC North gaunt here, and we're going to go to the Baltimore Ravens, where we did see Lamar Jackson back at practice as their training camp is underway, but Lamar has missed 4 of the last 4 practices. I guess that's all 4 of them, with an illness. Let's bring in Jamison Henley, our Ravens reporter, as he's been out there with all of the latest. Jamison, how's Lamar doing, and are there concerns around the situation with his illness?
Yeah, Laura, with Lamar Jackson, it's kind of appropriate that back-together weekend that Lamar Jackson would be back in training camp. He really does energize the whole training camp. When he's out there, you hear all the fans yelling his name. He's high-fiving teammates. He's giving guys hugs. And it was an up-and-down practice for him today. He had 1 great deep throw, hit Isaiah Likely, the Ravens tight end, in stride, but he was also picked off twice by Marlon Humphrey. But the big takeaway from today is that Lamar Jackson looks physically fine. In a red zone drill, he was sidestepping defenders. He was doing a spin move to elude and ran into the end zone. Lamar Jackson was doing Lamar Jackson things out there today.
I love it. That's great news. Jamison, that's exactly what Ravens fans want to hear. We'll keep an eye on everything happening there. We just went through these AFC North teams. It's going to be such a strong division. I want to go back to the Steelers because we haven't gotten a chance to truly dive into that situation and lose rubbing his hands for a good reason. I know. Go ahead.
You know, I love talking about Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my city now. Look, what's interesting, you made a great point, though, which was, you know, every rep that Russell Wilson misses is an opportunity for Justin to run with the ones.
Yeah.
Look, we were talking about, I was on with Tim Hasselbeck the other day, and he was talking about divvying up reps and trying to get 2 quarterbacks ready for the regular season, which is almost impossible, right? Because number 1's going to get 80% of the reps, 75%. Number 2's going to get maybe 30%, if that, because eventually you have to gear it towards the guy who you think is going to be the projected week 1 starter. This is that opportunity for Justin Fields to kind of like knock on that door a little bit and go, hey, look. So, look, Russell can say whatever he wants about, well, if this was the regular season, I'd be out there. Well, you're new to this team.
Right.
Okay? It's not like nothing's been given to you. And if you're Justin Fields, I'm telling you what, I'm going back to my dorm room at night and I'm going, here it is. Here's an opportunity to really put some doubt in the minds of the coaching staff and give them something to think about. Like, who should our week 1 starter be? Who should it be?
And Russell Wilson knows that he goes into training camp in the quote-unquote pole position to win the job with the expectation that he's going to win that job. But you can only imagine, both you guys have competed for jobs before. When he's pushing that sled and he feels that discomfort in his calf muscle, and he knows
You gotta be kidding
he's going to
me.
miss some time. What goes through his mind when that happens? Because the door opens
just said it.
for Justin Fields.
Nipping
You gotta
on
be
his
kidding me.
heels.
You got to be kidding me. And then the fear, in many ways, like the doubt, I got to be on the field, because these guys know all these guys are talented. Justin's still incredibly physically talented. The more I've thought about this situation in Pittsburgh, I get where you're coming from, Shefty, and I agree. Pole position, leader, unless. And we all kind of thought it would be hard for Justin to really get an opportunity to steal the job because training camp is condensed. We have 3 preseason games instead of 4. Quarterbacks really aren't, especially a physical talent that's going to be a dual threat guy, you're not really given the opportunity to show the capability. If I were the Pittsburgh Steelers and I said, okay, I've got an offensive line I think is going to be one of the better run-blocking offensive lines in football, and I got an Arthur Smith at offensive coordinator whose background is being elite when it's designing run game action, I would want a young, talented, maybe flawed in some ways, but dynamic player at that position to even expand upon the things that I did maybe in Atlanta with a Desmond Ridder.
And you're talking about Justin Fields, just for
Correct.
everybody at home.
And
Go ahead.
they have so little invested in each player. They didn't give up very much for either one. They got Justin Fields for a late throw-in draft pick. They got Russell Wilson for $1 million. They're not compensated. So they can go with whoever they feel like gives them the best chance to win. It's not like there's a first-round pick on the roster that they're worried about embarrassing somebody. Let the best man win.
You can hate Ryan. People can hate Ryan Tannehill all they want, and plenty of people do. They try to discredit everything he's done in the NFL.
He's a top 10 quarterback under Arthur.
Bingo.
Yeah, that's
Bingo.
it. So you say start Justin Fields, just to recap.
I
Start
say he's going to be the starter eventually.
Right.
I thought Russell would start the season, but this throws everything kind of into a state of flux.
Even if
The
it's
more
not a
time he
serious
misses-
injury, he's missing time and
Dan said it perfectly. If you got dinged right now when you know you're in like you were given the pole position, but you're in a competition, in my mind I'd be thinking, I have got to get out here.
yeah, get me out there.
Because
And I
otherwise
keep
people
saying
on
it's no
NFL
big
Live are
deal.
going to be talking about
I
this
know.
all the
And
time.
Justin takes advantage of it.
Calves are problems. They linger.
That's what
Yeah.
happened to Joe Burrow. I mean, it's potentially a different injury, but remember it affected
it's
Joe
very
Burrow last
interesting.
year.